tres, dos, uno.
Welcome to the new edition of SlaMMA. He's Heartbreak Howie.
And he is Big Daddy Chris.
And we are coming to you live to bring you the full fight card of King of Champion Worlds Collide.
It's going to happen tomorrow night, July 24, 2010. Technically tonight, if you count that this is the early hours of the morning. But it's actually the midpoint of a weekend affair known as the Colorado MMA Expo that's going on Saturday the 24th and Sunday the 25th, all day long. We're going to have fighters in town from all over the country, from the UFC, from Strikeforce, names such as Shane Carwin. You might know him. He's kind of a big name. Nate Marquardt. I'm sure Elliot Marshall's probably going to be there. And Strikeforce light heavyweight champion King Mo.
King Mo, it's a big name.
Yeah.
Brendan Shaw. Brendan Shaw.
Can't forget Brendan Shaw. He's a local
fighter,
boy.
runner-up.
That's right.
I thought he was going to win the show.
I know.
Came pretty close. He's riding a good win streak going up. He's got a fight coming up with Gabriel Gonzaga.
Yeah, your likeness, you know?
Yeah.
Right in your likeness. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to the expo. I'll be going there. Howard will be there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
We'll be in full force, SlaMMA Nation.
We'll be at the King of Champions event tomorrow night. 15 total fights, you know. The first half, yeah, it's looking pretty good. The first half is going to be the amateur fights. Just guys that haven't had a whole lot of experience, whether it be 0 fights. Looks like some of these guys, you know. We got Miguel Martinez with a record of 6-5. So he's had some fights, but he's kind of at that halfway point where he could be made or broke by this point in his career. You know, one more loss and he's at 500. He might decide to hang it up. One more win, he could be right on the way up again. So it's a really important night for a lot of these guys. The first fights in the amateur division, we have Alonzo Garcia, who's 0-0, against Garrett Culpepper, 1-0. So both of those guys in the 170-pound division really looking to make a name for themselves and kind of get their name on the map. Then we have James Strott-Smith, who is a record of 0-0, going against Joe Gutierrez, who's 1-1. Again, 1-1, he's at 500. He obviously wants to push forward and get into the win column, whereas James Straight-Smith, he wants to start off his career undefeated. You can't go undefeated unless you win the first match. Next we have, in the 155-pound division, Laurent T. Nelson versus Jeremy Hastings. Laurent is 2-1 and Jeremy is 3-2, so again, pretty even. A lot of these fights are pretty even in their records, just to kind of, you know, put them at an even pace there. And then to finish off, we have Josh Ford versus Matt Cox. That's in the 155-pound division. 135 pounds, so we're getting into the small guys. These guys can bang. I mean, they just throw and beat the hell out of each other, honestly. We have Eric Moya versus Miguel Martinez, as mentioned before. Eric is 2-2, so he's right at that 500 mark. Both of these guys just looking for that point to turn around in their career. And then finally, the last of the amateur fights is Jason Lee, 3-1, against Jason Clayton, 5-0. We've got Jason Clayton wanting to keep that undefeated record, and Jason Lee wants to knock him off his post. So, you know, a lot of very important fights. Even though it's just the kind of the undercard, the amateur fights, a lot of these guys just looking to break through the glass ceiling to the next level.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely like the amateur fights. There's a couple guys in there seem to be ready for the pro level. You got those champions there that are about ready to crack into the pro, or turn pro. Get in there. You know, the ultimate goal is WEC, UFC.
Even Strikeforce. I mean, Jake Shields took the Strikeforce route, and he got his payday. So it's the way to go sometimes. You know, go to the lower company and get your name out there.
Sounds like there's some good amateur fights to start out the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Really looking forward to it. It's going to be
nice to be there live for that. Yeah,
it's going to be exciting. So let's get into the main card here.
Definitely.
It looks like we're going to be starting the night with Nick Castano versus Vinny Poloni. Both real early in their careers. Got a couple wins for both of them. Looks like they're going to be banging. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good fight. The next fight after that, they have Chad Killingsmith versus Jeremy Kimball. It's going to be another good fight. Kind of interested to see. They both got pretty decent records going in. Killingsmith is 6-2, and Kimball is 4-2. So it's going to be a pretty good.
Someone's going home with that third loss. That's for sure.
It's going to be a pretty good fight.
I know.
Next one is actually a rematch.
Ooh.
A rematch from a couple of years ago. You got Ian Berg, who's 5-3, versus Kenneth Segrist. He's 12-4. He's had a lot of fights.
Wow.
Segrist actually submitted Berg, but he's coming off a loss, so maybe he's lost.
Berg definitely wants to get that win back.
Berg, I'm sure, is looking forward. He's actually coming off back-to-back losses himself.
So one thing's for sure, someone's going to win. Someone's got to win. Yeah.
I like to see it go. I kind of like rubber matches myself. So I like to see maybe Berg take this one and
go for a third.
We'll have a rubber match.
Nice little series in there.
Next one, we got Angelo Duarte versus Josiah Callis. Duarte, he's got a couple of wins by submission, so maybe he's more comfortable on the ground game here. Callis is coming off a win from another King of Champions card earlier in the year called Rumble at the Ritchie, which was held in February. So he's coming off a win himself. The next fight we have is actually they're going to have is going to be a 155 title fight where you got Justin Salas, who's 7-3, versus Matt Sims, who's 8-1. Salas is on a 2-fight winning streak, so let's see what happens with this one. Sims is a pretty good all-around fighter. I'm pretty excited to see this title fight. I know 155s definitely put on a good show. They pack a little bit of power, but it's going to be a war. That's what I'm looking for is a big battle. Then after the small guys, the co-main event is going to be the big boys, the heavyweights. We've got Ryan Martinez, who's coming in at 6-0, undefeated record. Looks like he's probably ready to crack that big time. Maybe a larger organization at some point will come looking for him.
UFC, Strikeforce, something like that.
Versus Derek Lewis, who's 2-1. Both guys, KO specialists. These guys are going to come in there. Two large men are going to go in there and duke it out. Ryan's got the size. Martinez is a pretty big guy. It looks like he's got about 20 pounds on Lewis. I'm excited. Heavyweights always put on a good show.
Yeah. Someone that has a loss themselves going into a fight with a guy that's undefeated. He wants nothing more than to knock him out and take away that undefeated streak.
It'd be a good win.
Could go either way for sure. Yeah.
In the main event, the two headliners we have Alvin Robinson versus Jesse Henley. Alvin Robinson's kind of having a rocky road here. He's been 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He is still pretty close from coming out of the UFC, where he does have a win over George Gurgel in the UFC. We'll see. Henley's 1-1 in his last 2 fights. He's a submission specialist. I know we've seen Robinson submitted before. 4 of his 5 wins are by submission. That's pretty good for Henley. So let's see what happens with that fight. I know a lot of people know Alvin Robinson in Colorado, but I think Henley is really going to take it to him in this fight.
For sure.
It's a 145 title fight. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So Chris and I, we're going to be hitting up the convention this weekend. We'll be at the fights tomorrow night. So if you see us in our brand new SlaMMA logo T-shirts. Give us a jingle. Say hi. Say hey, I saw you guys' show. Tell your friends. We definitely want as many people to be a part of this SlaMMA Nation as possible. So
join the SlaMMA Nation.
Join the SlaMMA Nation. Follow us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. We're gonna have a website at some point that we're gonna get going. If you have any questions, you have any suggestions, we love feedback. We want you to email us. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know what you want to see. If there's any